My name is Kim Jolly, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Springfield, Missouri. You can find more information on my blog at stampinartfully.com. Today we're going to be exploring some ways to use shaving cream in what I hope is an innovative technique for some. I'm calling it Not Your Mother's Shaving Cream Technique. And for today's segments, you will need just some various supplies. You're going to need some basic shaving cream. This is just an off-brand from Walmart. You're going to need a container with some water in it to clean your spatula, or you could use a credit card for this technique, an old credit card. Re-inkers of your choice, dye ink pads of your choice, some clear acrylic blocks. I used watercolor paper and Whisper White paper for the ones I'm going to show today, although I have used the shimmering white cardstock, and I've even used crumb cake cardstock. I've used various lighter shades to put some basic marbling techniques on. This technique works quite well for many different versions, many different papers. For this segment, I'm actually using a piece of watercolor paper. I have tried this on watercolor paper, shimmering white cardstock, and Whisper White cardstock, all with very good results. Now, this is a piece of 4.5 by 4.5 watercolor paper. I have used low-tack tape to tape it down to my clipboard. If you have watched some of my other videos, you'll know that this is just a way I keep my paper flat when I'm using watercolor paper or anything that I'm going to get damp or wet. It just keeps it laying out a little flatter. I'm also going to be using various sizes of my clear acrylic blocks from Stampin' Up! Just think of those as paintbrushes for this particular technique. I'm also using Melon Mambo ink, Lemon Lime Twist, Old Olive, and Bermuda Bay. Now, as I do this, I'm going to be cleaning the blocks a little bit off camera, so you'll hear a little swishing sound where I'm cleaning the spatula. My shaving cream I have on, actually this is from my Stamp-A-Majig. This works real well to sit beside me. So here we go. First, I am going to use the Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to go ahead and open up the pad, and I'm going to ink it up. Now I'm going to scoop a little bit of shaving cream on here and just kind of smear it around where I've got a little bit of a mixture of ink and shaving cream. And then I'm just going to paint with it. I am going to remove that bit of shaving cream that's left behind. As you see, this is just kind of random. You can somewhat get it where you want it, but it still has a mind of its own. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to use the melon. Let me see. Nope, we're going to use the Old Olive. Now, in the card I showed you, you may not have really seen very much Old Olive, but it really is there. So I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to frost like a cake my acrylic block. Then I'm just going to drag it around. Set that aside. Clean it off. Okay, we're going to go to the Bermuda Bay. Same thing. I'm going to frost the block like a cake. I'm going to kind of get that mixed up there a little bit. The shaving cream works as a suspension for the ink. You can kind of look on there and see where you've got some color. Oh yes, coming up with a really nice abstract look. Next, we're going to be using Melon Mambo. Again, put the acrylic block directly onto the ink pad. Frost it up with your shaving cream. And just lay it where you want it. This just kind of glides across. Now, for the card, I actually, right here, you can see the Melon Mambo where it's a little bit lighter, which is how it looks when I apply it with the shaving cream. This darker part is actually the new embossing paste that Stampin' Up! Has, and I mixed it with a little bit of Melon Mambo re-inker. Use the spatula to swipe it on. It's actually fairly thin, even though it gives some great texture. After it was dried, I used my embossing buddy and tapped it on there, and then I stamped the image on there with Versamark and actually embossed it with white embossing powder, which I think kind of gave an interesting look. When you are done with adding your color to this piece, just make sure you've got all your shaving cream off of there. Go ahead and carefully peel this up. As you can see from looking at this one versus my card, they never really turn out the same. If you pull that at an angle, usually it will not take the paper with it. If you need to, hit it with your heat gun a little bit, and there is your background, ready to mount with a die cut or a sentiment, however you would like to do this. For this piece, I'm going to be using Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral, and Crumb Cake. This is a way to do a little more of a blocked abstract look. We're going to start with Flirty Flamingo. For this one, I'm actually going to use a little thinner amount of shaving cream. And I'm really going to kind of work it in so the color is coming to the top. Now I'm going to be using Crumb Cake, inking it up, using the shaving cream on the block. It's a pale shade, so it doesn't show quite as much as the other one does. It just sort of glides on the paper. Now I'm going to be using Calypso Coral. Same idea. Stamp it a little with crumb cake and the image from the Dragonfly Dream set. And you've got a very interesting background. For this segment, we will be making a marbled background using shaving cream. This is a little cleaner, quicker technique than what has been around for years on the internet. You will need the same basic supplies I outlined at the beginning. In addition, for this particular technique, I'm using Clear Block E from Stampin' Up. These are the blocks that are used to mount the clear mount or the photopolymer stamps on. Also a piece of Whisper White cardstock measuring 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and Lemon Lime Twist and Sweet Sugar Plum re-inkers. So for this technique, we're just going to dot some re-inker on the clear block. Then you're going to scoop up some shaving cream. You're going to put it on here, kind of like you're icing a cake. Set that aside. And we're just going to lay it right on here. You can kind of move it down a little. You can sort of see what the design is doing. Then take your spatula and remove the shaving cream that is left behind. That is what you have left. Thank you for watching so far, and I hope you have enjoyed learning about Not Your Mother's shaving cream technique. These are just a few samples of some backgrounds I've made over the last several weeks. This technique does become a bit addictive. You can just spend an afternoon making these backgrounds. Look how gorgeous that is. You can just layer different colors on top of one another. There's a really cool abstract. This was actually a background I did for a card that has a bridge scene going across it. This is the sun and the water. Another just kind of abstract look. This was done on shimmer cardstock. This is the 4th of July card I made. I did some selective masking here with low-tack tape, and I just used Real Red and Night of Navy to make the card. This is one that I just used one color only, Lemon Lime Twist. This is another abstract that I used various colors. This is on shimmer white cardstock. And this is one that I just used 2 colors. I used Daffodil Delight, I believe, and the new Powder Pink. So as you can see, there's all kinds of versions of this. The possibilities are endless. And again, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched this far, and if you need Stampin' Up! Supplies, please visit my blog at stampinartfully.com. Your business helps me continue doing what I love to do. Thank you.